Let's do this. Hey, this is Rob G from MASA for the Raza. I got Verwolf. Verwolf. Damn, dude.
My name is Josh Verwolf. I'm here with Robert Garcia.
Wolf? Verwolf. Yeah. You see, this is a...
I mean, I even got a thing.
Josh, he was actually on the mic, what was it, like 2 years ago? When that was actually when before even this became MASA, it was
right before we elected the Orange Pendejo.
So today we're going to be talking about basically a super crash course. We're learning as we speak about what's going down this election, which is going to be Tuesday, June 5th this year. So don't forget to vote. Yeah,
the Monterey County Elections Office has moved. It is now at 1441 Schilling Place, Salinas, California, in the industrial section of Salinas, where Smuckers and McCormick's used to be.
Yeah, there you go. Man, do you actually remember the address and everything?
Born and raised, bro.
Damn,
I used to be the route I used to deliver on. I used to deliver. If you had 1441 in your truck, you're a sad puppy.
And then remember, when you go in, if you're going to go, right when you go in, make a left. Because there's actually several buildings, government buildings, sharing that single building, I guess. Yeah. So they're far to your left. They have like this small little dinky voter sign, so you might get lost. So that's my tip right there. Once you go in, make a hard left. So we're gonna just kind of ramble about because there's no voting for president or anything like that. We actually kind of have to see what's going down, especially here in our district, in the Monterey County district. Just a little fast recap. Proposition 68 is it's basically issues $4 billion in bond for parking, environmental protection, and waterfall. So the parks and everything, they want $4 billion off you. 69 requires certain taxes and fees, revenues related to transportation. So they want more transportation, I guess, money.
No, they don't want more money. They want the money that's coming in to be only used specifically for that.
Then we got a proposition,
and these are statewide. This is not just our county. These are statewide.
Oh yeah, statewide. Yeah. We got Proposition 70, which requires a one-time 2/3 votes to use revenue from the cap and trade program. But what is that? All you kind of
cap and trade is the program where they take. I might be wrong, but I believe it's the program where they take money for climate control.
Okay.
Right, it's greenhouse gas emission permits. So the cap and trade is you own this business and you're putting out these much emissions, so the state taxes you. Oh, you put out X amount of emissions, so you owe this amount of money. This proposition, they want to set that into a reserve fund that the legislature can only use that money with the super majority vote. So 2/3 of the legislature has to pass, like, hey, we want to spend $100 million of that on Robert's new hat. So hey. 2/3 got to vote. Yeah, Robert needs a new hat.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And a haircut. That's actually going to be another topic. Finding the right haircut. Well, anyways, before we continue, we're actually here at Mama Lupita's. You're going to hear a lot of noise in the background, but we just ate some chile relleno. You ate some chile?
Unfortunately, you can't smell the good food.
You can't smell the food. Good thing you're not going to smell what's coming out afterward. But anyway, so back to Proposition 71. So 71 is change the date when voter-approved ballot measure takes effect. So can you give me more little detail on that one?
The way it is right now, because we have so many absentee ballot voters in California, if they want to change the date. So the way it works now is if a proposition is passed, they have X amount of days to, like, oh, this is law.
Yeah.
but because it takes so long to count all the votes because they're absentee mailed in ballots, usually they're not done counting, but they say, hey, this proposition passed.
Yeah.
So they're not done counting the votes before they say that it's passed, and it goes into effect without them counting all the ballots and confirming the actual vote.
Yeah, and that's kind of one thing that I've learned, that a lot of times when you see on the news, especially when they're voting, when they're voting for the new president or whatever they say on the TV is not really truly confirmed, because, like you said, there's a lot of ballots that need to be reviewed, and they have up to a month, if I'm not mistaken, to basically confirm, okay, these are the right numbers.
See, this would change it to where the propositions take effect after the statewide vote has been counted and certified, about 6 weeks after the election day.
Oh, so they want to give it 6 weeks?
Yeah. What I want to say right now, I'd have to double check, but I want to say it's 38 days. So they don't even finish counting. They're like, oh, we lost $1 million, we'll just leave them there.
No, but like you said, they do get bombarded. Monterey County just got a new machine, I guess you can say, that replaced, because pretty much what a lot of times what happens is they get a lot of people from tent businesses or whatever, manpower and all that, but a lot of them actually go every year, so they know what they're doing. But either way, with manpower, you get mistakes, so a lot of times they have to review and make sure that it's right, and then of course it takes probably one person to not care for their job and want to get a paycheck, and then they find out later on, oh, they screwed up. So it really, they're really crunching it once they get all the votes on. What I've seen is, the day you vote is really when they really get busy and making sure that everything's right and making sure all the numbers. Now they got some new machines kind of replacing that, which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but...
They weren't made by Cyberdyne, were they?
Oh, dang. The ones that created cryptocurrencies and... No, just kidding. So I guess that, and now we got Proposition 72. You want to look at 72 right now? While I say its description is excludes rainwater capture system. That seems like what they do it in Australia.
Are you familiar with those?
Yeah, I guess basically when it rains, instead of just going off the floor, they actually.
Yeah, my father lives in Texas and has them on his house.
Oh, okay.
You've seen them out in the fields, the big clear drums with like steel cages around them. Mm-hmm. You hook those up, you put them on each side of your house, and hook your gutters to it.
Yeah.
So it collects all your rainwater, and then you have that water to use as you wish to water your lawn. So it actually saves you money.
They're trying to do the same thing as like solar panel kind of a deal. You get a break.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the way it stands right now, like say you own your house and you want to put these, you have to get your property reassessed for taxes, and then they're going to charge you more because you have this fancy rainwater collection system. So this will eliminate that. So you could just put the rainwater system, and your property taxes aren't going to go up.
Okay.
Nobody put up an argument against this proposition.
Yeah.
Because
who won? Then you kind of sound like an ass.
You can't have free water.
Well, it could be like, the mosquitoes. But yeah, so we got those going on. We also got some candidates that are coming about. I see right here, District 20 U.S. Representative, which is Jimmy Panetta, but I don't see anybody else, so I don't know. I'll go on to the next one, which is the State Senate. And this is where I need to be schooled more, because honestly, now that I'm kind of slowly getting into understanding what's all this, it's really coming down like, what is their job? What is their job title? Because one thing that I kind of hate is that and I understand that they need to be really quick on what they want to talk about, and it's always like a general thing. We want to help the school. We want to help anything that sounds, any big problems and stuff. But I really don't know what they can do in their part in that. You know what I'm talking about? Like, as far as the Senate, what is the Senate can do? The Assembly was actually the one that I really had no idea what their position was.
Okay, the State Assembly and the State Senate, we're a smaller version of our regular federal government.
Yeah.
So our governor is like the president, and then lieutenant governor is like vice president.
Yeah. Well, I know there's like 3 bodies. I understand that there's like kind of like 3 bodies.
So the assembly and the senate are the ones that make the laws for the state. So.
But the assembly, for the state assembly, is just basically the governing system for California, right? It's just whatever.
Yeah, so but there's 2 parts. There's the state assembly and the state senate. It's the same as the federal government. The House of Representatives and the Senate make up Congress. So that would be the California Congress.
Let's start with state senate. State senate is District 12, which got Johnny Tacheria. You might have to help me on these. Rob Potriz, because I'm just gonna be saying it like in the Spanish.
No, that's fine.
And then Ana Caballero, which is basically a native here in Salinas. She's running for state senate. She's actually our standing assemblywoman, and her term is up. So now she's going for the state senate.
2 state senators that represent us in Congress. One is Kamala Harris, which was elected in 2016, and then Dianne Feinstein's seat is she's up for re-election.
Oh, okay.
And she decided to run again. She's 85, I want to say.
Oh, so that's
84.
That's an old picture she has there. Some Photoshop right there.
But yeah, I want to say that there's like 30 people running for her seat. So to go through all of them would be just,
Yeah. So I'm going to be talking just more on the California part, I guess. Yeah, like you said, the Senate and all that, that's a long list right there. District 12 is going. We got Anna from here, Rob, Johnny. And then we go down to the Assembly, District 30, which we got Robert Riveras, Peter Munoz.
No, Rivas.
Damn, did I say Riveras? I need glasses, bro. I need glasses. Did I say? What about this?
People up.
Bill Lippy and Trina Gomez. So these are some of the candidates. I don't know what it means. And then also for you, Monterey County Superintendent of School. There's the auditors, which do you know? While I'm saying this, do you know like their positions by any chance? I know the auditors is just basically dealing with making sure that it's
the finances,
and everything.
Yeah. And then superintendent of schools, they govern the laws of which the school districts abide by. So they set curriculum, and then the amount of days, the amount of money. They oversee that the schools are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Oh, okay.
And how much money each school gets and stuff like that.
And then we got even for sheriff, man, Scott Davis and Steve Burnell, which it's been kind of a little bit of a scandalous kind of a campaign going on right there, if you haven't seen it. But I don't really want to go too detail. I guess they're just talking about embezzlement, but I think that's pretty much tactics that they use and stuff. So that's one thing that I cringe when it comes. They all
embezzle,
dude. That's what cringes me. Like I need to know this, but I really hate the whole drama of it, man. It's like, man, I'm just trying to pay bills and feed my kids. That's it. But either way, let's talk about
But to that point,
yeah,
worrying about paying your bills and taking care of your kids, being involved in elections and in civics is part of that.
Yeah.
Because the people that get elected in the office make the laws, and if you're not paying attention to who's getting into office,
we could be paying more bills.
or they're going to put in set policies that, you know what, we're going to deport more people. You know what, we need to, like, take for instance stop and frisk in New York. They implemented stop and frisk the people that were elected, and then the only people they used it against were minorities and poor people. So, if you're not involved, because it doesn't cost you anything to vote, but it can have large impacts on your life that people don't always see.
Yeah, and a lot of times, the only time a lot of people react is when it's already been implemented and they're feeling the effects of it.
Yeah.
Once it hits home, in a sense.
Yeah.
So.
And then it's, hey, that's bullshit. Who let this happen?
Yeah, exactly. So I know I got to get into this now. So now we got also ballot measures. Nothing really going on as far as I think Soledad needs money, and what else? I think Monterey County schools need money. Measure H, which is the cannabis tax, which they want pretty much money. $10 per square feet on nurseries, $1 if you want to sell or manufacture and sell. The only thing that I'm trying to see is where's that money going to go?
I believe it's going to go to the regional fire district. So they want to set up another tax to tax cannabis just to go directly to the fire department.
Okay, so they just
and I believe that would be just for our county. And so that's a county measure.
I already know that was one of the biggest things that once the cannabis things came, of course, come on in, because they already know they were going to tax, and I think Monterey County is one of the highest, if I'm not mistaken.
It's probably at least top 5, but I'm pretty sure that we're the highest. Yeah. So adding another tax, I don't agree with it myself. Yeah. I think that they should cut back the taxes that we already have, let the industry flourish, and then see how much it's actually bringing in, how much people are actually making.
In a business perspective, yes, you got to let it grow. The thing is that it seems that once this came in, it was just like, let's just smack you with a tax.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you want to do business here?
You haven't made any money yet. Hey, I want half.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of gangsterish right there, man.
Yeah,
that is. Either way, it's gonna be taxed, but at least give these companies a little head start to, before you drain them out, and then I think that's a lot of times you just want to drain them out and spit them out, but.
And then too, that is also a tactic to keep it keeps people with deep pockets in the game. Whereas if you like say me and you had a little bit of money, like, hey, we want to start a cannabis business, the taxes and fees are so high that it makes it not impossible, but it's a real hard road.
Jumping into that, because one of the things is it's always about taxes. Every time there's a bond, there's a measure or a proposition, there's always about just trying to get money and trying to move it. We were just seeing California has their state debt is.
The state bond is $83 billion.
$83 billion. So keep that in mind, guys. We're $83 billion in debt. They've only paid off $6 billion of that.
That brought it down $3 billion.
Yeah. So. So the thing is that just keep that in mind. If I was kind of looking into it, they said what I seen that they were just supposedly paying $10 billion a year, not even $10 billion.
Yeah, I think the thing I read earlier said 6.
6, huh?
The general fund's infrastructure bond repayments totaled close to $6 billion. So
as of what?
As of the 2017. And this goes to the point for Proposition, was that 68, that they want to add the $4 billion?
Yeah, Prop 4 billion.
Yeah, $4.1 billion.
So in other words, is that kind of saying that we paid $6 billion, but they want to get 4? So in other words,
no. What they want to do is sell another $4 billion worth of bonds. That's just going to go for natural. It's the natural resources bond proposal. So Prop 68 authorizes $4 billion in general obligation bonds for creation, rehabilitation of state parks and local parks, natural resource protection projects, climate adaptation projects, water quality and supply projects, and flood protection projects. Reallocates $100 million of unused bond authority from prior bond acts for the same purposes. Appropriates money from the general fund to pay off bonds. Requires non-state matching funds for certain projects and favors disadvantaged communities for certain projects. And what that does is they sell $4 billion worth of bonds.
Yeah.
And then we repay that over 40 years. But we don't start. We have 10 years to sell them. If I read that right, we have 10 years to sell them. And then after the 10 years, after the last bond is sold, we have 30 years to repay them, and that's when they start repaying them.
That's what's kind of funny is just that it's about stacking. they're never going to pay it, and it seems like once it is, there's always going to be another bond.
And it's robbing Peter to pay Paul.
There you go. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm not trying to lead you in any direction. I'm trying to keep it neutral, but that's why I got Verwolf, because he's straightforward. He'll let you know what he likes.
Yep.
So what's another thing what's going down on the elections? So we already talked about the assembly. Assembly is basically a smaller board, or a smaller. So it's like the assembly.
It's our state government. So they pass the laws that are specific just to California, whereas the Congress passes laws that are federal.
And that's the senator, right?
Yeah, the state senator.
The state senator.
Our U.S. senator.
A U.S. senator.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our state senator, they pass laws that affect only California.
Okay. All right. So that's pretty much the only two main ones that are going, and then of course the auditor controller, which is basically just making sure that the money is being allocated in the right direction. County clerk records. They're important, but at the same time, it's just. I did kind of look into Rupa Shah and Darren Hubbard, which is the auditor and controller. Rupa Shah does look like, well, she's already an assistant auditor. So she does have histories of that. So just keep that in mind. So Darren seems like he's just going to freshly come into that kind of position. Like I said, the sheriff in corner, Steve Burnell and Scott Davis, you can see that in the news. They're already saying that Scott Davis was taking some money from the...
And then I know point two with the sheriffs, even under Burnell's bio, he puts down that he got school resource officers in the North County. And Davis is opposed to those, or is at least on the side of not putting those in, because they had a big fight with Salinas City School Districts to get... They're called SROs.
SROs?
Yeah, student resource officers or something.
Oh, so yeah, one of them wants to put them in, and the other one doesn't?
Well, the other one supported the people because different organizations went down to City Hall and to the superintendent meetings and were like, hey, we don't want these officers in our school.
Yeah,
it contributes to the prison-to-school pipeline.
Yeah,
or school-to-prison pipeline, I'm sorry. Like, and my kids go to North High. When I used to deliver North High before my kids went there, there was always at least two cops, and then probation officers, and it goes from the school having to figure out problems. If kids get in an incident, and say two girls get in a fight, or hey, I don't like your hair, and they start fighting. That should be a problem the school can handle.
It already jumps the...
So with the officers already on campus, it's, we need to arrest you. We need to give you a ticket.
Their position that they have to take those steps.
Yeah, and then the teachers and the administration, let's call the cops. Oh, they're already here. I'll just go and walk next door in the office and I'll bring them in. And then, you want to go to jail? You want to be arrested? So they use it as an intimidation factor against the kids. And, the kids, shouldn't have to be going through that. So that's one issue where I know there's a lot of people leaning towards Davis.
That's as far as I know. But either way, like when I see those scandalous things that are being said, I've always told everybody, just do your research and see what it really, if it's just to ruin a campaign, or is it really...
Yeah, a 15-second commercial on TV paid by the other guy is always going to tell you something to make somebody look bad.
But at the same time, it was kind of funny because, when those allegations, I seen it in the news, then Scott Davis was constantly using, basically he was kind of letting people know that Steve Burnell was like a Trump supporter or something. He's like, these Trump tactics, that's what he used, these Trump tactics. So it kind of both ends is like, man, you both are playing dirty. So it just kind of, at the end, it's just really who's really fitting the best interest.
Politics is a dirty business.
It is, man. It's sad, dude. It's very unfortunate. Sometimes, we have to, either way, we're going to have to choose one. But State Assembly, nothing really interesting, to be honest, now that we're just talking about it. For reals, man. But I think I just really brought you because I wanted...
But it is interesting because you're going to have the people that are making decisions for you up in California on how... Like that. There's some of those people running for seats that want to take away the sanctuary state of California.
Yeah.
So... That's got to be interesting to you. And then if you're interested in making voting easy, if you're a part of any union, or if you're part of the Democrat Party or Republican Party or Green Party or Libertarian Party, you can find go online, find your local office, or you can probably just find it online. If you're a member of the UFW or the Teamsters or the FL-CIO, you can go down or find it online, and you can get their specific endorsements for each proposition and each candidate. And so it like, if you don't have the time, like, I can't research all these people, I don't have time to read all this stuff.
You just go and you can kind of see what they're leaning towards, you could say.
Yeah, they will give you their recommendations on how to vote. So the Coast Weekly, our local free paper that comes out every Thursday, they have their nice recommendations, and they have pretty good little breakdowns. Yeah. So it's kind of, it makes it easier. So, and then you could just do it and then go vote. And voting's open now, right?
Yeah,
you could go down and vote every day until...
you may vote early at the office, May 7th until June 5th. You can vote by mail already, if you got it. Well, if you got to register, of course, right?
Yeah. The deadline to register for June 5th is already over.
Yeah.
But if you're not, you can still go down and register, so that way you'll be able to vote in November.
That's one of the biggest things. So just make sure that your information is updated. If you're not sure, if you've moved, if something changed, definitely make sure that you everything's right in the system. You can probably even give them a call.
Also too, because depending where you live, there's different things. Like if you live in Greenfield, for instance, they may have something on the ballot that's specific just to Greenfield, that only Greenfield residents get to vote on.
Oh, definitely keep that in mind. There's a lot of people that do come in and get pretty teed off on that. Why can't I vote for this and that? I was like, hey, this is your address. Another important thing that I really didn't think that it was very important is actually when you put your signature right. That they actually go by your signature. A lot of places, it's just sign here and it's whatever, but they really do go by your signature. Now, I think the machines that they have is they really, if they see anything kind of totally off, they'll kick it back, and then they have to manually, and it's going to be a lot of time delay. So that's definitely one important thing. If you're voting by mail, read the instructions. Really read. There's a couple of, especially when you're the envelopes have mainly in the flap. I remember in the flap, before you close the flap, I think you need to sign and make sure, I think, the dates or something like that. But definitely just really before you do anything, just take a glance at everything. Don't kind of skim it through, because you're gonna skip
read all the instructions first.
Reading the instructions for real, dude. And it sounds stupid to say, but people just kind of skim through it, and then
sometimes things may have changed from the last time you voted to this time. There may be a new method of filling out that voter registration that changed. So,
but one of the biggest ones that I'm seeing is circle when you're voting. Circle it. Don't check it. Don't X mark it. No red pen. Blue and black is the choice. But
it's just like those tests in high school. If you don't fill it out right, you're not gonna get credit.
But it's funny, man, because people, they just won't. You really think that they won't, but they will. And so, that's pretty much it. I think we kind of covered the majority of it. But man, you got anything else to say?
Just go out and vote, and then also too, we're gonna have a community housing forum open for all residents of Salinas, the county, to come out on July 1st at 10 a.m. at Closter Park. We're doing a community forum to address housing and what situations people face, the cost of housing, the cost of rent.
Is that the one that you kind of sent me on I remember I sent you a text, and I sent you a big old long text.
That one was for Alasal Vibrante.
Oh, Vibrante, yeah.
For their meetings that they're having held to have residents put their input for how the general plan is going to be changed, and what things they're going to do, what people would like to see done, what things they have planned.
Yeah, it's a big vibrancy plan. I'm trying to see.
Also, too, I want to say part of the downtown revitalization was part of that also.
Yeah.
This is something that's been going on for a few years. It's not just like, oh, it started, 2 months ago.
Yeah, because I'm looking right here. I mean, it's a whole bunch of different areas. Downtown, Baronda Road, Alvin Drive, Safe Routes. So, yeah, because there was a big grant. I think it was Measure G. I'm not sure if that was it or something. There was a lot of money, and I know they've been slowly trying to get people. The only thing that really kind of pisses me off, I'm going to say it, man, pisses me off.
Hey, whoa, watch your language. What the fuck you saying?
Just is you really don't announce it that well. People don't know until the last minute. Like, don't even know until it was done.
It's a challenge of civics is getting people involved and getting people notified, and people blowing it off thinking, oh, somebody else is going to take care of that.
Yeah, and that is...
And just the same thing with voting is, oh, you know what? I'm not going to go vote because, you know what? Robert's going to go vote, and he's going to vote in the right guy for me. Mm-hmm. So, why do I need to go?
Yeah, I'm totally guilty. It's just like, why do I really got to see this, read this? Somebody else is going to take care of this, and we got to stop that mentality of somebody else is going to do it.
See?
Damn, thank you, man.
Letting us down, bro.
I'm all talking about this vote and big old hypocrite. So yeah, well, we're talking about it's the vibrancy plans. There's Vision Salinas, Chinatown Revitalization Plan, South Vibrancy Plan, Park and Recreations and Libraries Master Plan. I'm looking at right here.
And then which website are you on?
This one's actually visionsalinas.org. You can go to visionsalinas.org and on the top you can click on what they're doing. Chinatown is the one that I really haven't looked into to see what they're doing. But I know they are slowly knocking things down. They already knocked down the, I guess the little community park they had or whatever where they used to grow plants and whatever.
Like that, how you're wondering what would happen there. There's information on that website, and then you can also go to the meetings and ask. They have they have Q&As, and they should have the list of all the meetings on Vision Salinas website. So you can see when the meetings are, what the plans are. I want to say you can go down to maybe City Hall and actually look at the plan and, oh, this is what, they're planning to do here and this is what they're planning to do there.
Yeah. Look at the tax and
because I know they're also planning to put permanent homeless shelter over on Natividad. They're expanding the jail. They're putting a new police station over on Alisal.
Yeah, right.
They're supposed to be making improvements to the the bus routes and to make that more efficient. And
the buses actually did get a lot of money. They got some money.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, to do all those improvements and stuff. So
one of the things that I thought, and I brought it up at one of the cannabis meetings that they had at the Cashville Community Center, or I brought it up with some people that attended that, was using the cannabis tax to see if we can make public transportation free. Because if we're going to have all this extra money coming in, I think that's one thing that would benefit the county as a whole.
Yeah.
Is everybody could, ride the bus.
That would be great. I mean, they had that trolley that used to go to Monterey.
Look at all the improvements they're doing in Northridge. They're going to put in that bowling alley and I don't know what else. And they've already put a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to ride the bus for probably an hour and a half to get to Northridge. There's no way.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was free, or even if they reduced it down to 50 cents a ride or a quarter a ride,
man,
people would be able to move about the city and see things in a different light. And I'd be able to go to the library.
You know what? I've actually got on the bus with my daughters, and we just got lost. We actually ended up in Watsonville. I was like, I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere.
It already runs through the whole county. So, we could ride the bus to Monterey. We could ride the bus to Carmel.
And you know what? Now thinking about that, I know in the bigger cities, instead of getting this yellow bus, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but they can actually jump on the bus and go to school or something like that. They've used, in other words, they use the transportation.
Yeah,
over there they use the transportation.
It's already there.
Yeah, that's already there because, for the bus to go all the way and circle around, by the time they get to the school, it's a little bit too late. So, because I do see a lot of families, a lot of walking their kids, and they walk a good distance, So
because even if they reduced it down, because I remember I grew up in Castro, and I remember, we would scrounge up change, and it was I want to say it was a quarter to ride the bus or 50 cents, and then it was $1 to go to the swimming pool right here in Sugar Gardens. So for $1.50. We get our towel and our clothes, and 8 or 9 of us, we'd ride the bus to Sherwood, swim all day, and then ride the bus home.
Or even just keep it a simple day pass, you know what I mean? 'Cause that's...
And seeing things like that is you can, like these ideas, you can take these to city council meetings, county supervisor meetings.
It does take time to sit down and school ourselves. And I'm saying ourselves, I think pertaining to me too, because...
It's the old saying, you prepare for war in time of peace.
Damn. Shit. See? Just shoot me. Damn. The BS. Just vote. That's all it is. It comes down to just vote.
Get involved. Do your civic duty. The more people get involved, the more you pay attention, the better place the world will be. And the more we can improve our city, improve our county, improve our state, improve our nation.
Yeah, it's something there. It has to be done.
One thing that you can do, and that's the beauty of living in the time that we live in, is technology. All city council meetings are now on YouTube. So you can go back.
See, that's a good tip.
And you could watch... what happened at the last city council, and I want to say
even on cable, huh? I think they.
Yeah, we have our own public
and
so you can watch those live when they happen. But on the YouTube, if the meetings, I want to say, are Tuesdays at like 6. So I could go back if I really want to get involved and look and watch the YouTube video and see what what's going on, what they're talking about, what they're trying to implement.
So you don't got to sit on your butt at a meeting, just hearing the whole thing. You can. Go on YouTube and fast forward, and
then you can and also go to the websites. City of Salinas has their own website, and I want to say if you don't want to watch the meetings, you could just read it. And so there's ways to get like that involved. And then if you wanted to volunteer time, there's the elections department. I'm sure they'll take volunteers. There's different ways to get involved.
Yeah, and those little things you start getting to know, especially Salinas, that's still kind of, it's big, but it still has that hometown effect. You start getting to see, you actually bump into a lot of people that are making changes here in Salinas. And go ahead.
And getting involved like that, how you're saying, running into people, if you're emailing people, just simple emails like that. I can't make the meetings, but I could send an email. Because I send emails to senators and stuff every once in a while. Just say, hey, fuck you. Stupid. And then the FBI comes and gets my stuff. But you could say, like, for any federal law, like right now with the after the shooting in Parkland, and those kids are trying to get certain gun things passed.
Yeah.
If you support those or you don't support them, either way, you can write your congressman and say, hey, I'm your constituent. I feel like this. I'd like you to support that bill or not like you to support that bill. And every time you do that, you're going to get a response back. But on the local level, running into people, if you're doing those emails or showing up to the meetings, you're seeing those. You're gonna run into the mayor sometimes around here.
Oh, I see him every
You're gonna
First Awakening. You're always there.
Yeah, you're gonna run into people and it holds them accountable. They know people are watching, and the more people that are involved, the more they have to do the job that they were elected to do. It doesn't become like, oh, how could this benefit Robert and his family, and you know what, I could get new rims on my truck. But I'm saying it keeps them accountable to what they're supposed to do. And unfortunately, you get to see, the more you get involved, the more you get to see some corruption, some systematic things that have been systematically in place to oppress certain people. Unfortunately, you're going to see things like that. But the only way to change those things is to get involved.
Yeah.
Because you can stand around and yell about it all you want, but if you're not getting involved in the processes to actually change those things, they're never going to change.
You can actually put a halt to it instead of wait till it happens. it's already law or it's whatever, and then you're just complaining. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once you're being involved, you get involved, you get to see what's happening. You can kind of foresee what's happening, and I think that's very powerful right there.
Crazy thing I learned it at an event maybe a month or two ago. There were laws on the books in Salinas until the 30s that you couldn't sell a house in South Salinas to a Mexican person.
Oh, wow.
No, yeah.
Oh, that you couldn't?
That you couldn't. That's the same thing I did. What? So, it's good to get involved and learn, the history of your area and, how to make things fair for everybody.
Yeah, and especially when they see more and more people, especially fresh people, because I've noticed when you go to the city hall meetings and stuff, you always get the same people that are complaining, and they do have legitimate complaints. They do have seriously legitimate complaints, but they're a one-man army. They're very deeply into it. They really kind of see what's going on, but they start to fall on deaf ears because they just kind of come out as somebody that's just complaining about whatever. I've seen that. But once you start seeing a group of people, or you see, somebody different, then they're like, "Whoa, okay, well, I got your attention." So, and then numbers power too. I mean, definitely. Yeah. I mean, if you see there is a concern and all that. One of the things that I've always seen is that they'll come in with a group of people, even if they're sitting there. You don't know how powerful it is if you're just sitting there with this group of people, and you just even have one person speaking in the podium, because they only give you about 2 minutes anyways.
Yeah.
But they see that, hey, it's kind of like high school. Like, yeah, I got my homeboys back.
That's what I was speaking to earlier. Is keeping people accountable.
Yeah.
Especially the representatives on the city council and the mayor. They're elected to represent the people. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times if the people don't get involved and tell them, hey, we want this, they're just gonna think, well, I'm just gonna do this because nobody's saying nothing. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, and I noticed the more it starts becoming informal, and just a lot of things do get slide by if they're not being watched in a sense.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Well, thank you.
All right, brother. It was good, man.
And stuff.
Thank you.
I'm gonna definitely get a hold of you because I want to see more about that house thing. This is Rob G.
Josh Verwolf.
All right, we're out. Ooh, bro.